because he always used to act when like defending.
I think it's like.
Well, Arsenal fans, it is the 21st of January and it's actually 4:17 p.m. in the United Kingdom. Still, Arsenal have not signed anyone, but the Seskos, the Cunha rumours are still, running riot. Apparently, Ethan is back in training. Mikel Arteta is giving his press conference, and I'm sure you lot have a lot of things to say, and I'm actually behaving like my mother and father did not give me manners. Appreciative to having you lot tuned in. Good morning, good afternoon, in some cases, good night. Big up yourselves for being locked in. Don't forget any questions, talking points, differences of opinion. Feel no sort of way about voicing them. It's an interactive platform. And to be honest, 9 times out of 10, I just hear my own voice. So I'm quite, I know I'm not hearing you lot's voice, but I'd want to hear you lot's quote unquote metaphoric voices in it. So yeah, smash the like button. Big up you lot, people. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here. And we're going to get on to everything in just a sec, man. Any Champions League watch alongs tonight? No, because I'm going to be out. Like, you lot don't see it, but I've been in and out today. Pause. Obviously, I did the stream this morning with Cecil. Big him up. Check that out after, people. Did a video with Zar, which I'll bring out later today, people. And then in and around, I've been racing around, man. Got up to my eyeballs, man. Admittedly, I did want to watch Monaco versus Aston Villa, and I guess I'll be watching it on my phone. But yeah, not today, man. The good news is, though, Arsenal versus Zagreb tomorrow is watch along settings. And over the weekend, we've got Arsenal Wolves, or better yet, Wolves Arsenal. I'm sure Manchester City, Chelsea, I might be making that up. But if that is on Saturday, then it's watch along settings. Sunday, I'm not too... admittedly, I don't even know who's playing on Sunday. But come on, man. I'm good for it. You know we're there, man. Big DG, we need a collab with Hugh Izzy again. SB, appreciate you. Shout Hugh Izzy. It's been a hot minute, man. It's been a hot minute. A couple of years ago, I tried line that. He flopped, man. But yeah, big up him, man. He's good people. Like everyone, man. I know we're all seeing the battle lines being drawn in the divisions and whatnot. Personally, I like everybody in the Arsenal space, whether they're a bit more negative or a bit more positive. I don't think everybody's right or everybody's wrong. So yeah, man, just love and respect to everyone in it. But yeah, man, it's good people. Wolves 3 p.m. It's a 3 p.m. kickoff. I'll still be there. And how ironic, we're linked with Cunha and now we've got them. So it's all mad. Big up fam. I always say fan zone TV, my killie. Again, please make sure you're not only hitting the likes and the sub buttons here. Go over there. It costs a second of your time to support people. If you want good content, you know where to go, man. They talk about Arsenal, Liverpool. I wouldn't advise watching the last Trench Talks episode, but Fridays, 10 p.m. onwards until it's finished. Great episodes there, man. So yeah, make sure you're doing that. Getting tired of saying we need signings, by the way. If we really look bad against Zagreb, did they sign someone quick? I'll be real. If we sign, just taking what you said for gospel, if we sign someone off the back of the Zagreb game, that's negative to me, because really and truly, what could you learn in that Zagreb game tomorrow that we don't already know? And for some of us Arsenal fans, whether you're positive, negative, if you look at the situation with balance, there's nothing that I'm going to learn that we never knew in the summer. We know we needed a striker. We know we needed a winger. We know we needed to take the positives or the good from last season and make it great. We knew the sheer number of bodies we have in the squad isn't sustainable. So yeah, man, we're kind of in the same issue. So are we going to learn? I don't know. We should have done what we needed to do in the summer. Okay, that didn't happen. We all know January is a difficult month to do business and all of that sort of stuff. But regardless, we either find excuses or we find solutions. And I must admit, it's quite boring, man, talking about this now, because it's the same, whether it's Sesko, Cunha, what's the lad from Bournemouth, man? Semenyo, all of these names in it, it's the same thing. Oh, the teams won't let them go. It's a lot of money. And all of these factors are right. But other people are making movements. So why can't we be the only? Why can't we sign someone? I know as fans, we're desperate. I'm not necessarily a fan of overpaying. But if Arsenal genuinely have a player, they believe in the man's quality. Like even for Sesko, in Sesko's example, do I think he's available? No, but we heard you wanted Sesko in last summer. We hear he's going to be a target in the summer. If it's true and the rumors are really 60-odd million quid or whatever have you, what's the difference between paying that now in January and in the summer? Because then you've got less to do and it's factored into the budget. Anyways, on the topic of the summer, it'd be interesting, man, because we know we're not going to see 10, 11 footballers leave this football club and sign for us, but there's a lot to do. For me, I think people are not talking about it enough. Saliba, Gabriel, Bukayo Saka in the summer, 2 years left on their deal. That needs to be sorted out. We as fans deserve, in my opinion, to know at some point what's going on with the sporting director, if I'm honest. Because 1 minute is they don't believe Jason Ito is the most experienced man. They got concerns about that. They still want him to be involved. Now the language has changed to he's doing great stuff in the market, whatever that is. Is that because your more long-term targets in that position don't want to sign? So you got to sort out the sporting director. You got to sort out 3 key players' contracts. Obviously, get well soon. Gabriel Jesus, he's out for the best part of a year, so you can't sell him. You're going to have to pay his wages. You're going to have to consider what you're doing with Kai Havertz, because I don't think Kai's going to get sold, and I'm not dissing him. I think he's an okay player. But for me, if you named Arsenal's strongest 11, I don't, in an ideal world, and Kai's probably in it right now, he's playing up front or in midfield. He wouldn't be in a starter in the team I want, and he wouldn't be a striker. So you have to deal with that. And then you've got the Kiviors, the Zinchenkos, the Tomiyasus, you get where I'm going. Several decisions need to be made. So there's a lot to do, man. Do I believe we can salvage our season? I don't think we can win the Prem. I don't. I just think we have to be perfect. We're saying the same things now. I think we have to be perfect, and you're relying a lot on Liverpool. But just because I say that, don't mean I want my players to believe that. As long as it's mathematically possible, go as far as you can. The Champions League, I don't think we win that. Of course, I hope I'm wrong. The League Cups, miracles do happen. I don't know if a miracle will happen. So, yeah, man, we need signings today now to salvage some of our season. And again, I'm sure Arsenal Football Club, whether it happens or not, they're trying to do what they're doing in the back burners. But to me, as an ignorant fan, an armchair expert who can only deal with what's in front of me, yeah, it's fun to talk to you lot about the rumours and stuff. But cold, concrete legs on the 21st of January at basically 4:30 p.m., it doesn't fill me with confidence. The closest we've really got to signing is Zubamendi, and that's far from concluded. But that's in the summer, and that's great. Bring him in the summer. Right now, we've got issues. So it is what it is, man. Havertz has to go. Easiest. I don't think Havertz has to go. I think he could be a squad player. I don't think he could be a difference maker. But if I humor you, I don't think you're necessarily wrong. Everyone's got an asking price, but I can't imagine anyone's queuing up to buy Kai Havertz. And how much is Arsenal going to want? And how much, is anyone going to want to pay his wages? We're just going to have to get on with it. DG told, man, we ain't getting anyone this window. This club ain't serious. Havertz doesn't need to go. We need to add, not replace. The squad is thin, and Havertz is still very useful. It's a squad player thing for me with Kai, man. You show me that you can be part of it, but I don't want to live or die by you scoring. And again, I actually think I don't think Kai Havertz is the answer. I don't think we should have bought him. I do think Kai has been a lot more consistent generally than a lot more of his teammates, which probably tells the problem. I do think as well, people, he's been a lot more consistent. Like the back half of last year, as much as we criticize him, he's got like 7 goals or something. So for me, it's gone past looking at Kai Havertz because you didn't buy yourself. You're not playing yourself up front. Respectfully to Kai, if I'm saying these things about you and we want to be a title winning side, I think that sums up our issues. So you can be part of the squad, but we're doing that thing we do at Arsenal where we take squad players, make them regulars. We take guys that, will show quality over a 10 to 5 game sort of period across the season. And we're asking them to do it for 20. Again, I didn't think it'd be this collapse. I definitely couldn't have predicted the injuries and to this level, but you could see there was an element of stagnation. I think we assumed, and I'm talking about those that make the decisions at Arsenal, that the positives that were there last season would just go to higher heights and the negatives will even out. And I'm sure Arteta, the players, they none of them wanted this, but to me as an ignorant fan, again, it looks like regression. Like it does look like regression. Like I'm not seeing the same team. Like I don't care what the statistics say. I don't think we're as strong defensively for the whole team. I don't think we're switched on. I think there's too many of these sloppy goals that we're seeing. Clearly, regardless of how many goals we've got, we're not scoring enough or we're not killing teams. I think our game management isn't where it needs to be in terms of being champions. I personally think the injuries, maybe not to this amount, has just highlighted the problems we've got. So yeah, like if nothing changes really. And then I must admit, like not even getting at Arteta or anything, but it feels like we've just gone back into and I hate to say this about Wenger, but the latter stages of Wenger, like we're just in the Champions League places now. We're just quote unquote existing. Big up Fam Zone TV once again. Same players being spoken about is jarring. I don't think Arteta is convinced on any players that we keep mentioning. I'll be real. I hear you, but then there's a thing of, I think Arteta's got to spend peas, but at the same time, I feel based on the summer, because it did feel like there was an emphasis on selling. And I think that will continue into next summer. Don't get it twisted. Us lot, we're the strikers, the wingers, the depth, all the things we keep waffling about, it needs to stop in the summer. But I think there's a big emphasis about selling. So if there is a big, if you can make a case of 5, 6, 7 players leaving, and maybe at the, I would say as a minimum 3 players to our starting 11, and marrying the squad, how are we really that stable as a football club? Like, is there really that much stability with the players as one would wonder? I'm not sure, man. Getting tired of, oh, sorry, I already saw that. My bad, man. Don't want to see Cunha. Just give me a specialist. Tired of these hybrid guys that don't excel at anything. I agree and disagree. My thing with Cunha is, I don't think you fix anything. Like, obviously you do, but I don't think you fix anything. I just think you're a good player, as stupid as that sounds. And I'm having Cunha for what it's worth. You want to sign for Arsenal, sign tomorrow, innit? And even completely off topic, yeah, we keep hearing this stuff. Like, 1 minute we can't sign players from relegated sides because they need them. Then teams are fighting for titles. Moral of the story is everyone's difficult to obtain, right? But I'm having Cunha. We're complaining, very different sorts of players, of course. But we're complaining about Odegaard's lack of creativity or having a wobble. There's no one else. Cunha can play as a 10. Cunha off that left-hand side probably is a lot better than Trossard and Martinelli. I'm not a fan of him playing as a false 9, but you have him. Again, it makes our squad better as well. So I'm all for that. You get Cunha, you get a forward, which we're not signing a forward in the summer. We start to look at things a lot differently. 280k a week. Havertz stops us signing other players by now. Really? Because he's not the only one on healthy wages. And if Partey, Jorginho shaved off the wage bill, Partey's on like 2 something. Jorginho must be on like 100 grand at least. Tierney's on that. Nelson's on that. Zinchenko's on something like that. We can make things happen, if I'm honest. And if I'm not going to lie, again, this is why I don't get Kai Havertz. If Kai Havertz's signing has prevented us from doing other things, Kai didn't put a gun to his head to sign anyone. Mikel Arteta was the one that probably fought for that. Owners, sporting directors, they negotiated deals and signed off. So everyone's got to hold that, really and truly. If I'm honest, Havertz will be a good 12th man, but in his wage, that's brazy when we haven't won a major. It's true. And we're nowhere near that there, yeah. But the Premier League clubs are getting richer and richer. There's also the inflation to consider. There is going to be a reality, maybe not where you've got 5 players on the bench on 200 grand a week, but you are going to have people on healthy wages, if I'm honest, man. DG, 4 years ago, I was in college. Love for the super chat, first things first. DG, 4 years ago, I was in college suffering under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer running Man United. 4 years later, we're both still saying the same thing about our club. Good days. Appreciate the super chat. But well, I've been saying maybe not so much in the last 3 years because certain things have changed. But my adult life as an Arsenal fan has been shit. I'll be real. Like I'm sound spoiled because I have seen FA Cups and some good moments. But this shit, primary school was amazing. I was called a glory hunter for supporting Arsenal. Like, and away from everything, just everything was different. Like I saw Warriors, not even in terms of abilities, Warriors. And I don't necessarily think this is necessarily just Arsenal. I personally think footballers are a lot softer. I think society is a lot softer, but we will be going left if we mention that, man. Dusty, just get me John Duran. I would love Duran. West Ham are making a song and dance to that. Cunha decent, still not good enough. 2 strikers have to come in. Can we really see 2 strikers signing though? Like if you get your blockbuster one, I wouldn't say that blockbuster for me is that, but level raiser, strike with our dreams of the club's dreams. You get Sesko, Isaac, you get a left wing. Are they gonna bring another forward in when you got Kai that can play here, there, and everywhere? Cunha would be of that ilk. You still obviously is out for 9 months, but Gabriel Jesus is still about. Trossard's an option off that flank. I just don't think it's feasible. Sick of us wanting the dead guys. Go pay big dough and bring in Gyökeres. We've been linked with Gyökeres. I don't buy the Gyökeres links though, admittedly. I must admit, I don't buy it. Like, I think the club have probably scouted him. I think he must be on some sort of list. But at least where you see Isaac and Sesko and these kind of ones, there's tangible proof. You've got the Ornsteins and them lot waffling about them. It don't really seem like there's any legs with the Gyökeres one. Thing is, we waited on a 21-year-old for a year just to go back for him. Sesko is the one we need to sign. Go do all you can in January, innit? At a minimum, I need to see a winger. Like, I would love a winger and a striker. Admittedly, I think the striker issue has gone on far too long now. So I would like a striker. But in January, if you could bring me someone that's, I don't know who, but you're going to get Bukayo Saka numbers generally, or you could even offer 50% of the output Saka gives, I think we can maneuver with it, at least until the end of the season. Do I want that? I would love both, as I said. 14 GA in 21 games at 25 years of old is decent, can be polished. That back line is very stable for the future. I'd expect the front line to change from year to year, to be honest, with midfielders getting added in here and there. Bro, I don't care if it's Cunha or Sesko. Just don't overpay for them. Just don't bring that guy. Don't overpay for them. Just don't bring that Jesus guy near my team. That Igor Jesus guy, never seen him play. Watched him on YouTube. Not being critical, but Brazilian, South American talent, 23 years of age, has played football in his homeland and has played football in UAE. Go get your money, do what you want. At 23, still young, but it sounds a bit booky. I mean, if that's a loan signing to tie you over, then I won't be happy with it. I'll give him all the support as I think he's due as an Arsenal fan, but I'm not really for it. And the last striker we had called Jesus, it didn't really work out, did it? And surely, bro, maybe Isaac, Isaac, sorry, I've man said Isaac, I want Isaac. Maybe I've read what you're saying wrong, but surely in January, of course, if you could get a deal, get a deal. But surely we're at that point now, man, have to pay the P's, bro. Like, it's January, you have to pay the P. If you want these guys, you have to be prepared to slightly overpay, because we'll get into everything. But what I see with this Cunha stuff, my thing is, he's on signing new deal at Wolves. Maybe someone's got in his ears, and maybe Arsenal have said we're going to spin the block for you in the latter stages of January, and he's half-hearted. Maybe his agent's playing a bit of a blinder, but we've been here before. Douglas Luiz kicked up a fuss. We didn't agree what needed to be agreed. Caicedo was twerking on Instagram to join the club. For whatever reason, Brighton was saying one thing, we were saying the other. It didn't go nowhere. Vlahovic, very different. It didn't go nowhere. Locatelli, it didn't go nowhere. Mudryk was absolutely creaming and cheesing, pause, over Mikel Arteta. Obviously, that's a bit different. Chelsea came in with great money, but it comes down to the money, really. The player can want to make the move as much as he wants. You've got to offer people stuff they can't refuse. Everyone's got a price, and it's down to us, if we believe that much, to hit it. And I know no two situations are the same, yeah, but I do think people act like it's only an Arsenal-specific thing where we talk about you need players that fit the remit, the profile, this and that, specialists, don't want to take risks, value for money. I agree with all of that, I agree with all of that. But then I flip it. I'm not even getting at Kai, but that can't have applied to Kai Havertz. That couldn't have applied to a degree to Declan Rice. That couldn't have applied to a couple of other examples. So, yeah, man, it is what it is, man. But we need to be bringing people in. We need to be bringing in people. Liam Delap would be very good for us. He would. But, are you leaving Ipswich now? And they're going to make you pay an arm and a leg. Now, don't get twisted. Pay the P's. But are Arsenal that convinced in Liam Delap? Because if you sign Liam Delap, I think we'll be playing FIFA now, but you could say Liam Delap's your rotationary striker and things like that. Rightly or wrongly, if you sign Liam Delap, that means forget Isaac. That means forget Sesko. That means forget this one and that. That's your striker. Now, obviously, Liam Delap's not an idiot. He's been linked with Chelsea, Arsenal, City, half of these, even Spurs, even though they're crap now. He'll be fighting with Solanke. He's not an idiot. The better team you're at, the more you have to fight for your spot. But it don't really make sense, man. It really don't. It is what it is. Shamelessly, I'll take Evan Ferguson on a 10, 15 mil. Yeah, your guy mad. They're not letting him go for that, man. I know guys will tweak, but he will take 70% of Havertz's chances, and that's a gamble worth taking. You know what? I was a big fan, but he looks like he needs a solid year of no injuries and playing. And I'm not against it, but I feel where you get them kind of ones, I do think this applies to a degree to Sesko, but he's significantly more experienced. I do think, I even believe it with Liam Delap. I think Ferguson, Delap, these ones, like every striker's form fluctuates. It's funny because people were saying for the best part of the season, Isaac's fallen off a cliff. Look at the stats. People were saying Haaland, obviously, everyone that's got him in your FPL teams, he wasn't bagging. Look at the statistics. They all go through that. But I think you'd have to be more. I even think it would happen to Sesko if I haven't made that clear. I think you'd have to be accustomed to that. Like, my first choice would be Isaac. If money wasn't a thing, it'd be Isaac. I like Sesko. You'd have to shoot me. If we sign him and it doesn't work, fair enough. I do like Sesko. And there's a bunch of them. Someone mentioned Duran. I'm having Duran. The only one I'm not really keen on is that Feyenoord's there's more, but finals, Jimenez, I'm not really on that. I'm having Gyökeres. Foregoing not making a forward signing because we're waiting on a Sesko who said no to us, probably because he felt he wasn't ready just to go back to him is crazy. I hear it, but I understand that though, because we have done, assuming the Zubimendi thing happens, we've done that with Zubimendi. Our very manager, Mikel Arteta, didn't want to sign for Arsenal Football Club when he, remember when he got offered the job straight after Wenger left. So I wouldn't necessarily go down that route, and I hear it. We'll never know the truth with Sesko because I don't know why, but I vividly remember when we was, after the fall off of the summer, and we were sat here and we were reading The Athletic and all of my guy. I big up Durag Diaries. Durag Diaries, make sure you subscribe him, man. He's a Spurs twat, but he's all right, man. He's all right. He's all right. Go check out his content. But yeah, as I was saying, with the Sesko thing, I don't know if the Athletics are doing up nonsense because we know the club's got them in their pockets. They were saying that Arsenal wanted it to hit a certain accounting period and certain bids. Likewise, you hear that he wanted to continue his development where he's playing at Leipzig, where at a point he was in and out the side. Then you hear allegedly Arsenal didn't give him any assurances you're playing ahead of Havertz, which on one hand I hear. Obviously, certain man, if you sign, you're playing. I hear it, you have to earn, if you're going on the route of you need to earn your spot in the team and all of that kind of stuff. I hear that makes sense. But I would say Arsenal's bugging out. And if I'm Sesko, I hear it isolated to if you feel that was the best place for your development, because Leipzig know you're going to get the move. You're going to get the move. If you wanted stability and you didn't feel you was ready, I hear that. And I am not an agent, but we all saw you your agent better at Chelsea's ground last season, at Man United's and at Arsenal's. So you were clearly probably thinking, I'm going to the Premier League. If you genuinely, regardless of, this is just my thoughts, if I was Sesko and I'm a real number 9, like Kai Havertz can play up there. He's a centre mid by trade and all of that. I am a real number 9. If they're saying that to you, like Arteta is saying, you're not guaranteed to play ahead of Kai Havertz, I hear it, but then I'll be respectful to Kai. If I'm Sesko, I'm looking at that like, yeah, I'm taking your spot. I might not start the season, but you see, once I get my chance, I'm gone. If you really was enticed by the project that's going on at Arsenal, the London aspect, the young growing into the team and whatnot, bro, like on another, even though I'm a big fan of Sesko, it does make me look at him a bit booky. Like, you think you can't take Kai's spot? Even if you've done your research, he had a good second half of last season. I only did it for half a year. And he's an accidental striker at the club. Now, let's not be disingenuous. He's played as a false 9 before, but Arteta failed upwards with that. It was a Declan Rice and Kai Havertz thing. It could speak volumes to Sesko's character, but it also could say, you know what? My head's not getting turned by the Premier League. Let me stay at Leipzig, do my thing, and then I'm gone. Because there were times he was in and out of the side behind the Pena at Leipzig. And even this season, maybe not so much now, but he's fluctuated through form. So I understand if he wants to stay there. Now, obviously, Leipzig, there's rumors he's still got a release clause. There's rumors with that new deal, they removed that. They're the ones that's laughing. If you've got a half-decent striker, it's money. I'm not dissing Solanke, but just because George is there, make sure you're subscribing to Durag Diaries. I'm not even dissing him away from him obviously playing for Spurs, right? 65 million. John Duran, they bought him from like 2 minutes ago from MLS. You're seeing 65 million, 70 million shouts being rejected. The striker market is fugazi anyways. So if you've got a half-decent striker, Isaac, who people forget, Newcastle spent peas on him, The smartest ones were Sociedad. They're like, boy, is that Dortmund? He's not hitting the heights. We still believe in him. Come here, sell to the Premier League. So you've got two options in it. You either be prepared to pay for these guys when they become quote-unquote household names and they're doing their thing, or you outsmart the market, bro. The market where strikers is cooked. And I do feel sorry for strikers to a degree. I know it's the modern day. You got to be able to drop deep and work the channels. And sometimes you're not always in goal-scoring areas, but then you're still expected to be a traditional forward. Like, it's quite harsh. And when you look at a lot of football teams, yeah, when you deep it, there's obviously some. There's a lot of teams that strikers are not the ones getting the clear-cut chances, like the most of the clear-cut chances. Arsenal is the wingers. I'd even reckon Spurs is the wingers, even if Solanke's there or not, because he does a lot of selfless stuff. Fulham's a bit here and there. Brighton, I think they still create for their strikers. Man United, it's not their strikers in the box and not scoring anyways, but it's not them. Most of the modern days is peak. Like, So I do understand when Arsenal sit there and say, "Oh, I don't know for a forward," and that. My issue is, and my impatience is, there's not an issue at Arsenal Football Club like the major underlying issues that we learned this season, or we haven't learned this year or last year. There's nothing new. Like, yeah, the injuries we've had mad injuries, but we've known how it can go left with a small squad. We've seen it before. We've been saying, what happens if Odegaard is missing and he's not informed? What happens if Saka this and that, Ben White this, Saliba that, Gabriel the third? And you're praying to God nothing happens with David Raya. Because God forbid, like, we're out the League Cup anyways. But if something happened to David Raya in the build up to that game, it's peak for us. Like, Neto can't play, so you're playing kids. France are responsible for this wingers and strikers thing. I just think it's because when you deep it, yeah, if you actually look at teams, a lot of teams, and I think this is where you look at Arsenal, where you look at a lot of sides, a lot of teams don't want to get caught on the transition anymore. So they thought they want to be more solid in terms of central spaces, but there's a lack of creativity. The creativity is coming out wide. That's why I think it is. We need more Chris Woods in the world. England used to have a bag of proper bagsmen. Exactly. Big up Chris Wood. He's doing this. I can't lie. If there was an alternative world, but I'm having him on loan to the end of the season. The thing Sesko is going for him is that he's still only 21, and it probably was the right decision for him to stay another season. We just can't stick around to wait for him. But that's the thing. Arsenal do the weird thing, like, we only want you. We act like that's the only girl on the planet. Then when she don't want to be with us, we're baffled. Friday nights there's no Jones. It's peak. Then gonna have to compensate on a forward and spend high on a goal scoring winger, as there's a lot more in the winger market. I mean, that was one way to go around it. Kind of mimic what Liverpool had in that you got your little Firmino, you got Salah and Mane that are doing their thing. Really, it's just Bukayo Saka. Saka can't even. Well, he's not playing. Unfortunately, Saka can't have a bad day for Arsenal, or he can't have a bad season. We live or die by him scoring. Thank the Lord for him bagging. Thank the Lord for the corners being put in the back of the net at times, because where would we be without that? There's so much we need to address, for me anyways, in terms of mentality and seeing out games, man. Like, we've dropped 12 points from winning positions this season. Of course, there's been red cards and all that kind of crap, but there's been many a time where the games could have been killed before those flash points are there, if I'm honest with you. I believe that was the case of Brighton. I believe that was the case of Aston Villa. I believe that was the case of being at the Emirates, Brighton at home. There's several times. Not so much City, even though we took the lead. I cut them that kind of grace. And even in the Villa game, yeah, this season, we snatched it in the second half. Like, so we should have had some sort of thought behind it. And yeah, man, I just think there's so much that Mikel Arteta needs to arrest in terms of our mentality and on a coaching front. If you really want to go from a team that's huffing and puffing and being around the top spaces, but not getting over the line, Sesko is the next. Don't think he's as sexy on the ball as Isaac, but I hear that. DG, we need new players this window, but I have a feeling that come the end of the window, we won't have anyone. I know it's naive, and obviously the injuries we faced has somewhat changed this, people. But as ignorant as it might be, I'm of the belief of once the summer's done, you're saying that's all you've got enough to tie you over until May. Now, because the January market, obviously, I'm contradicting myself. It's a reactionary market. Arsenal are desperate, and I don't know how to look at it. But when you see language that weren't even, like the media is saying, it weren't even Bukayo Saka's injury that we made us think, like, we need to get involved and do something. It was Gabriel Jesus's. So how many times are we going to pay for this mistake? I'm having Liam Delap, man. I'm torn, though, because I do like Sesko. I do like Liam Delap. I do like Ferguson and what they could be. But then I think about I'd say the latest example, Aubameyang, and even Alexis Sanchez when he played through the middle. You see, when you've got a bagsman from the jump, like, you just know in August, they're going to be up there with Salah, Harry Kane. Well, Kane's not there, Haaland. They might not win Golden Boot, but they're going to be up there. That helps you a lot, because ultimately goals win games. I'm having Tyler Diblin. Sesko, Gyökeres, Amradon, Sesko. Alternatively, one of the young strikers and Jonathan David still need a winger, even if David plays 4 positions. You're moving mad. Carla, I'm not really feeling Cunha. He's Brazilian, man. There are so many players to sign this transfer window. There's actually no excuse. They just got to make it happen, man. Big up DJ in the platform. Big up yourself, man. I think Cunha would be great for us, because just like Rafinha was at Leeds in his last year, he showed that he was about to break through. Same I see in Cunha. I'm cool with Cunha. You're Brazilian. We need players. You're good in that. I'm not expecting you to be the difference maker, but when you buy correctly and you've got a bunch of competent players, suddenly everything's great. Like, you look at Liverpool. when they signed, maybe not so much, but I don't think when they signed Salah, they thought, yo, you're the star man. Mane, you're the star man. Wijnaldum, you're the star man. Robertson, as a fullback, you're the star man. They just bought competently, and not to these man's levels, but Joe Gomez. When you buy individuals on a competent team, you start to have decent players, and I think we need to go and do that, if I'm honest with you. But again, the dynamics has changed. Big up DG. Cunha means Odegaard plays deeper. That's a factor. You could have Cunha as a 10, Odegaard in a deeper role. I don't necessarily think Mikel Arteta is going to do that this year, but it is an option. I'd rather Ferguson than Osimhen. I would say I like Ferguson for what he could be, but if it's just purely football and not all the other stuff, and we're trying to salvage something of our season from now till May, which we know it's unlikely we're getting silverware. We're on the back foot in all the competitions, barring the FA Cup, which there's no back foot to be on. We're out. I'm having Osimhen. Why were we not willing to overpay for Mudryk, but we are for Havertz and potentially Sesko? Probably didn't rate Donny like that. Exactly as Havertz benching. Sorry, is Arteta benching Havertz for Cunha? Probably not, man. Different horses for courses. And I do think next season we will see Kai Havertz returning to midfield. Don't get it twisted. I never really want to see Kai Havertz in midfield. Certain games, like of a 38-game calendar, there might be 3 games, 4 games, 5 games. There might be a method to the madness kind of thing with him there. But naturally, you know, I know it's not all this, but Arteta's got to justify playing Donny, you know. Like, you bought him for 65 million. He's one of the highest earners. I imagine Kai Havertz wasn't unanimously agreed by Arsenal's recruitment team. You've got to play Donny. And even that, Kai Havertz is, I'm sure, I don't think he's a disruptive figure, but he's going to say, yo, Gaffer on the play. Bearing in mind, next year is a World Cup year, you know. It's a World Cup year. So some players might want to move so they can get in their country's limelight. Some might not. Some might hold off signing new deals. Saliba, Saka, Magalhaes. If I was your agents, I'd say calm down. It's interesting. Like, next year is a World Cup year. 2025, 26. He ain't got the technical ability. I think with Havertz, and I agree, because obviously you've got tech to the normal human. You've got tech here, but I think your strengths are that you're a fighter and you're better off the ball. You're not a facilitator that I've come up of watching Arsenal, but you're a facilitator. You're not. So if you're not good on the ball, I don't think in comparison to your teammates, you're good on the ball. I don't want to see you in midfield, because we already see when Kai Havertz, and I hope to wake up and Kai's a different player, but when Kai's in midfield, Odegaard has to drop even deeper. That's obviously our key players are not next to the opponent's goal. That's on top of all the open play issues and all the things we've got. So we're not putting our best foot forward. One question I'd like to ask Havertz is, what position do you think is your best? Because in my opinion, I think Donny doesn't know himself. I hear that, and I ain't got nothing to hand, but based on the way he has been speaking in the best part of the year, I reckon he thinks it's up front, you know. Havertz was better in midfield in his first few months at the club than anything he's done. Sorry, Havertz was better in midfield his first few months at the club than anything he's done when up front. He only scores on account of being up front, even though those are suspect. I respectfully disagree. There's no way he can tell me, especially in the first few months. So Kai Havertz up front. I mean, Kai Havertz in midfield, where we was bleeding to rate Donny. West Ham away, Newcastle away, rating him because he's getting into handbags. Dead that. I think you're being dishonest. I respect your opinion, boy. You're always here. Dead. When I saw Kai Havertz up front, savage Chelsea. Ironically, technically, he was in midfield, but he was playing up front in the game. One of Kai Havertz's best moments for me as an Arsenal fan is probably against Spurs, where he's played that lovely pass for Saka. I think that's cap, my guy. And even that, bro, Kai was getting charity penalties and kumbaya penalties. Nah, man, boy, you're better than that, you know. That's foul, man. Saka went down before Christmas, so we should have had the targets and talks ready to go from the window opening, but no way we didn't. And Jesus as well is the only reason we're looking more. Havertz in midfield was terrible. As DG says, we lost 3 games in December 2023. I'm not even blaming him for that, but better at all. Man. There's more standout. Anything Kai Havertz did in the second half of last season is better than anything he did from the moment he signed to this club until that point, if I'm honest. Nah, I disagree respectfully with that one, man. That one there is horrible, man. Just one injury to Saliba. He dismantles the midfield. He's too obsessed with defending. Arteta can't win Arsenal a major trophy for any trophy this season. He's making silly mistakes. For me, I'm not against him being defensively minded. because defense wins trophies, and last season we were spot on. For me, though, as one, what I like about Arteta, you think about the opponent, you're a madman in that regard. You keep them pending their own half. What I care about is no matter how much you want to do that, you still, the beautiful thing about football is, and I always say this, if I just say some random names, Arteta, Pep, Postecoglou, Slot, Hansi Flick, they're all football managers. They've all got different philosophies. What one man might think is the most important, the next might think is the most irrelevant. You all have to keep balls out the back of your net and put them in the opponents. And for me, I just feel with Arteta, of course, I'm sure if I spoke to you, you've got an identity and where you're going around it. I think we think about the opponent too much, and I think we're lifeless in the final third. And in isolation, you can't go forward, go back. You can't go left, go right. You can't force it. But when it's time to up the pressure, I don't think we do that. I think there's a lot of issues that we invent ourselves, man. Turkey for 20 to 25 million is surely worth a gamble. Play on the wing or Odegaard cover. Can't see us signing a striker at all till the summer. I'm all for Turkey. I think he's got the talent. I don't think Arteta would want him because Arteta end up putting him in a headlock. And that's what I honestly believe. Sesko or Gyökeres was the better option. If we're trying to win right now, I'd reckon Gyökeres, you know. But I like Sesko, man. Havertz is a far better option in midfield than up front. Kind of the same. Just got to get some work rate. Havertz a better option, better than Moreno in midfield. That's a terrible hill to die on, really. And I don't think he is, because I don't think Moreno's anything to scream and shout about. But at the very minimum, I've seen you pass the ball forward, see you running behind. It's almost like Havertz is, I will get cancelled if I say what I want to say, but like you're just in charge of running forward. Moreno shouldn't have been bought, if I'm honest with you. We needed a midfielder that upgrades the thing, but I don't think he is a bad player. You should have just brought that level raiser and him. The one thing I'd say to Moreno, though, I would have expected to see a bit more authority. And what I mean by that is, yeah, I'm not asking you to be amazing, but I've seen Francis Coquelin, you know, make an impact after that Charlton loan. Or when Emi Martinez came back after he was in the wilderness, I thought you would have, you know, puffed out your chest a bit more, man. You look a bit, I'll be real, you look a bit shook. Like, maybe I hear it, confidence, all that stuff, but you look a bit shook, man. Yeah, undoubtedly look shook. Let's see what's in the tabloids anyways, people. I mean, on the 28th of August, 2023, Match of the Day was shameless, or Graph Cooks was shameless. They said, are Spurs about to enter an Arsene Wenger-esque era? Maybe the austerity Wenger, but boy, I love the internet. It's got receipts. This is how I know Arsenal fans are getting a bit vexed with what's going on at the football club, because there's still tickets available for the Zagreb game. Now, this at no point this season have you seen this flagged. So this is what we need to do better at, people. Should we see every word Arteta has said on Calafiori and Ethan, just the key parts? It's very positive news. We missed them for a few weeks and they returned today for training, so they'll be available for the game. Saliba, come on, man, let's get fit. He's evolving. The last few days, he was feeling much better already, but this game comes a bit early for him. The players are training to music. I think Arteta, you just do your mad stuff, man. You do all of that. On how important it will be to miss the playoff round, I think I speak for every Arsenal fan or every fan of the Champions League. You don't want extra games. Extra games with less bodies, the maths ain't mathing. So far, we've done really well. We're in a really strong position, and now it's time to capitalize at home on the work we've done for many months. We need a strong performance against a really strong side. We'll try to do that. On weather, we'll head for warm weather training if we skip the playoff round. My thinking is, let's do what we have to do first, which is always difficult because we are talking about the Champions League. If we manage to do that, we'll have the best ideas on the table to make the right decision. So we're going on holiday if that happens, people. On our break, making the difference last season, it was very helpful. And with the schedule that we've had for the last 3 months, you can have a break, reset a bit and work on things and rest some people while some are back. That would be great. I mean, who would even be on this break? Because everyone's injured. I mean, it could be a holiday, but no one's going to be doing warm weather training. We hardly got anyone fit. On whether he enjoys the transfer window, I love it. Mind games. On whether he laughs when he sees us linked with many strikers. No, I understand it happens. In the summer, I had a lot of people texting me saying you're after him, and sometimes I don't even know what they're talking about. I don't follow that too much. I have enough work to do, and we've got a lot of things on, so I don't get distracted by it. On if Fabio Vieira, people. Oh, yeah, Saliba could be back for the City game. On Fabio Vieira and Reece Nelson and potential recalls, there were certain possibilities with the Fabio situation. We're exploring all the things that we can do just in case we cannot do them as well, how the injuries are progressing and when we're going to have them available. So maybe Ethan coming back, puts a spring in their steps and maybe means Fabio's not returning. Nelson, I can't lie, there's no point you returning because you're not going to play. You're not. You and Sterling are going to be next to each other on the bench, really. And Sterling's essentially just replaced him. Big up Max Dolman. I mean, the man's 15, 16 in it. I think the world of him. I do think he will be a future Arsenal first teamer. I think he's got it all, but I'm not a fan of the hype of these young men, especially as they're 15, 16. Like today's day and age is a bit weird, if I'm honest. But Arteta said he's very impressed by him and his age and his huge potential, and obviously how far he goes up the gears. And obviously this could be interesting. At the moment, with all the legislation, there are a lot of restrictions for your age, something that in other countries you don't even mention. So he potentially could have been in the first team a lot sooner in like a little debut or something. Apparently, he weren't eligible to play in the Premier League. I think the Athletic did the article, but technically could have been on the bench against United. Big up Zagreb. They got Fabio Cannavaro, this Martin Brutrina guy, who was previously linked with Arsenal. I guess we're going to get to see him firsthand. On Bukayo Saka being back, no, that's not going to change. It's within the process and the time that we've had. The phase has gone on now. Arteta's got to be trolling with the process and phase talk, but he's doing really well. He's feeling better day by day, but we have to respect the healing process that he has a lot of stages to go through his rehab. On having Ethan back, yes, it was a big setback because he was getting some consistency and more minutes. We made him play in a different position and he was doing really well. Then suddenly this happens. It's understandable with the load as well. It goes through the roof immediately, and this is what we have to manage. On how many times we've been able to rotate this season, I mean, probably a lot by force. Whatever I say will probably not be the right thing, but I think if there was one or two, I would be surprised. On the knock-on effects of moving players from midfield like Partey to right back, I had no choice. Last season, you did. I didn't have another right fullback, just Duran. So that Josh Nichols, them and there, you know, we're near the first team when it comes down to it, respectfully. Who plays when Duran isn't available for his load is too high. The other day was the first time Duran moved to centre back, but in relation to the way we have to play, we cannot have a right-footed player defending a right winger. I didn't have another right-sided centre back. If your name is Calafiori, Tomiyasu, what's going on? What's going on? Get fit, please. Anywho, people, moving on from that, unfortunately, as we all know, Gabriel Jesus will miss around 9 months of football after suffering an ACL. We all wish him the best, naturally. I mean, in years to come, this will be one of them golden pictures. Ethan Nwaneri, Max Dolman, Miles Lewis-Skelly. There's a bunch of other Highlanders coming through the system. Once again, Calafiori and Ethan were in training, people. With Mikel Arteta, whether players are in training or whether he seems upbeat or not, at this current climate, he's made me believe certain players are not going to be available, and they have, and vice versa. So, Gaffer, I don't want to take too much stock into what you're saying, you know. Again, I want to know you lot's thoughts on something. Sam Dean tweeted, strongly believe this is the single biggest reason for Arsenal's inability to really kick on this year. In the Premier League last season, Saliba, Saka, Martin Odegaard played 92% of all minutes. So far this season, they've only played 71% of all minutes. So that's a give or take around a 20% drop-off. That's the single biggest reason. I think that's a factor, but is that the single biggest reason? That my man said the single biggest reason? And those are three players we've seen with Saliba. Like, you miss him in a title challenge's peak. We've had those conversations around Odegaard. Some fans who I think do too much about rest and stuff, we've been begging for Saka to be rested. So it's a massive factor. I'm not downplaying it, but is that the single biggest reason and our inability to kick on? Because some of the things I'm saying now, I was saying in the summer. I was saying when the season kicked off. There's only been a handful of times, and I don't want to find faults for no reason. I just like to think I call it as I see it. There's only been a couple of times I've truly been somewhat happy with our performance. I feel, given the circumstances, I would say PSG at home 100% actually. Given the circumstances, City away from home, by default, the two Spurs games, more so the one at their place, and there's a couple others, but generally I haven't. And it's about the fine margins. But yeah, we've gone over everything, Mikel Arteta there. Yeah, the man wants a striker, as we all do. What else have we got? Let's close these things as well, people, because Tab Police, you lot get on to me quite a lot. Most big chances created in the Premier League this season, we've got 62. Now, I would love to see all of these 62 chances and what quantifies as a big chance, but it tells you that a striker will go a long way in helping us, man, if I'm honest with you. Now, as you know, we've all been linked with Pereira, people, so let's strip everything back a bit. The ITKs of this world, Team News and Ticks, I'm not condemning or breading and saying they know what they're talking about, people, but let's see. And before I carry on, Sugar, that's a good point. That's why you need a sporting director who is allowed to have a voice as strong as the manager, because Klopp wanted Brandt, my man wanted Salah. It's fair to say Salah worked out all right. I'm not saying Brandt wouldn't have been a madness, but would you know, we might have even been better than Salah, but it's funny how it all worked out. Now, apparently, Arsenal's deal to sign Wolves forward Matheus Cunha is getting messy due to the complex nature of the potential transfer. According to a reliable ex-account Team News and Ticks, the Gunners have agreed terms with Cunha, though he's also got a verbal agreement to sign a new contract with Wolves. That's funny. So is he is his agents doing the right thing? Are they trying to have the best of both worlds? Either you move to Arsenal or you get a new contract with maybe an exit clause and favorable deals. Is he even trying to get an even better deal? I don't know, people. It seems like there are funny things are going on. But anyways, it seems Cunha had been prepared to stay at the Molineux, with various reports early in the window suggesting that he could agree to stay put until the summer and sign a new contract with a release clause. What? The fans have to know I traveled to Manchester to give them an opportunity, but they didn't want me. That's something else. That's completely ignored that got me. However, it seems Arsenal pushing hard to sign the Brazil international, and that turns the player's head, leading to this rather chaotic situation described in the post below, which we're seeing here. Cunha, once again, Cunha's situation is now quite messy. Player had agreed terms with Arsenal, but also with Wolves on a new deal, but is refusing to sign it because he feels he has a chance of going to Arsenal and is trying everything to make it happen. Arsenal will not be held to ransom on price. Both Cunha staying or coming to Arsenal is still possible. Same, and he's still linked with Man United. Saying bare things, but nothing. So I hear this. Cunha, if you genuinely want to push for Arsenal, great. If you've agreed terms, great, but I need to see you've agreed a fee. Arsenal, that is, with Wolves. Medicals are taking place. People are holding shirts. We've been here before. Like, this is tired, man. And yeah, we're the Seskos, the Isaacs, the Yokeres, in addition to Cunha. These are the names that are still being thrown around, people. Spare a thought for Wolves, actually, because their new manager shouldn't have to deal with this in and amongst the relegation battle. We've got Wolves on Saturday. He's criticised the behaviour of Cunha as well, following their 3-1 defeat to Chelsea. He also got onto Lamena for kind of the same things, people. He said... What's he said here? He's a captain. He can be frustrated as he wants to win, but everyone in the dressing room wants to win. I don't like his body language. I want a captain to try to help the team with running, suffering, and fighting together, but now I understand it. Next time I won't. And he also drew out Cunha's teammate Lamena. So maybe heads have been turned. Maybe there's a club that's got nothing to do with us. You'd imagine Cunha sets up as a left winger. Now we've been linked once again with Sesko, but allegedly Arsenal face major transfer decision now as 67 million deal given green light. Benjamin Sesko is set to be available for 67 million in the summer, leaving Arteta and co with a major dilemma. Pick him up for the summer, but that's tired, man. It's no secret that Sesko is one of Arsenal's top targets. They even lined up a move back in the summer before he agreed to sign a new deal. Arsenal are now spinning multiple plates. Every team probably is. And are known to be keeping tabs on Cunha, who could still leave this month. And with it being unlikely they'll sign both players, Arsenal and Arteta has a lot to ponder in coming weeks. It was reported that Cunha was close to sign a new deal. Apparently his agent is looking to move the goalposts as we've gone on. Sesko is free to move to up to 67 million. Wolves want 80 million for Cunha, which I don't think he's worth 80 million. I want him, and I would love his that. Say it making much sense, man. It's just a whole lot of nothing. So I'll have to see, man. Again, Romano said Cunha's situation from now until the end of January is one to watch. A new deal is not formally signed as yet. I reported 2 days ago. There are clubs showing interest, with Arsenal still keen, and not only. Victor Pereira's post-match words yesterday were strong. So, yeah, man. Boy, we'll have to see. I don't believe the Vlahovic stuff. Ornstein's quashed it, but for what it's worth, apparently Arsenal are the only club to have shown concrete interest in signing Juventus striker Vlahovic this month, with Arteta the driving force behind a potential deal. There's no way we can fact-check this. We all know he was previously linked with Vlahovic. His contract is running out. Juventus, between now and the summer, probably have to sell him if nothing changes. He's one of their highest earners. And I'd imagine if he's moving to the Premier League, regardless where you go, if you're getting paid down in Italy, with the riches of the Premier League, you don't want to get paid less. It don't make sense. Do you leave one job to go to another to get paid less? You don't, do you, people? But yeah, we all know Koulibaly seems to be going to going to Juventus, and then there could be a bit of a merry-go-round. Allegedly, the Italian side are adamant it will take around 65 million euros in brackets, 55 million to sign Vlahovic this month. As things stand, the only team to have taken concrete steps for the 24-year-old Serbian international is Arsenal. Sources close to the situation say Vlahovic is Arteta's favourite. There's no way of fact-checking this BS, man. I don't think he is. For what it's worth, Arteta might like you, but I think time's moved on. Once again, Sesko remains a long-term target of Arsenal. The Athletic have said he planned to see out the season in Germany, and Leipzig would want a significantly higher fee to sell him this month, especially as any deal would likely leave them with little to no time to source a replacement. Again, key thing is Saliba could be back for City on the 2nd of February. Sky Sports Dharma Chef has said Arsenal are exploring options for signing forward this window, but remain cautious. They only plan to proceed if financial terms and the players fit with the squad are ideal. I love how we always see that like that is something unique to Arsenal. We've all heard that the player, in Sesko's case, available for 67 mil, Arsenal and Chelsea allegedly are in competition for him. So we'll have to see where that goes. Given Arsenal's ongoing interest in the likes of Sesko or Isaac as potential summer transfers, the club may pursue a loan deal for a forward in January. I do not want Koulibaly, but could that have been a thing? We've still been linked with this Igor Jesus fella, who I'd give all the chances in the world if he signs for Arsenal, but it don't look good. We're still linked with Ferguson of Brighton. Vlahovic's name has been thrown into the ring at Barcelona. Dortmund are still linked with Zinchenko. Check out the video I did earlier today. I went through a lot of these things. I would love Tyler Diblin. If Leipzig are getting involved and there's 30 million guy in Spurs apparently onto it, get involved, man. Maybe because I miss Smith Rowe. And apparently Newcastle are eyeing up a move for Victor Gyökeres, which I don't know if the plan is to play the two Swedish forwards in him and Isaac together. I don't know if there's a bit of a merry-go-round about to happen. We've been linked with Marcus Thuram once again, people. And again, in terms of other content, we're not quite done here yet, people, but make sure you check out the video I did with Cecil earlier today, tomorrow. Make sure you smash in the like button. Of course, people, will be live to watch Zagreb together. What else we got? As I said, I did a shorter condensed video earlier today. I never miss out for you lot. Make sure you're following me on Playback, people, because we're going to start running a lot of content on there. And make sure you're following on Spotify, man. They spliffed my last Spotify platform, so I've got to build up the audio again. And you can actually watch 1-2 vids, man. Arteta said, who is his fave? There's no way of there's no way of fact checking what's going on. That Buffardi guy, Social Joins, I've got a video that I haven't released about him. Me and you are massive fans. Yes, it's like 2014 Wenger again, defending the Cronkies and getting top 4. I'd get Vlahovic, pop a 9, and gets another lead in the dressing room. I'm not against Vlahovic, but where I'm against you is, I mean, 2022, we signed Jesus. Charles Watts confirmed we didn't get him, but Osimhen's agents were obviously there. We went for Vlahovic. Now, I say this all the time, but Vlahovic in the last international break, he didn't sneak this his manager, Thiago Motta, but he compared Thiago Motta and the Serbian gaffer, whoever that is, respect to him. He said, he let the Serbia at Juventus, they kind of want me everywhere. The Serbian gaffer just lets me stay up front. Now, rightly or wrongly, to a degree, in the modern day, every striker can't just stay. Strikers are not just in the box. There's none. Haaland don't even do that, even though you probably want him to. Whoever's up front at Arsenal, they don't do that. So, I do wonder why Vlahovic was a target for Arteta in the first place. Maybe he could have done that. He didn't. And then you look at, obviously, Kai Havertz is not the answer up front. Neither is Jesus. But they kind of do that stuff. Arteta fucked with Lacazette up there. He did work with Aubameyang. Lacazette was one of those. And in the modern day, you've got to be that. And I think Vlahovic isn't the thing. And if you sign Vlahovic in Jan, if you sign for Arsenal and it's amazing, but the Sesko thing, forget about it. Is that you can forget about it anyways. Gyökeres, you can forget about it anyways. Duran, I don't know. And let's be real, half the guys that we're talking about, we'll be talking about in the summer, and there'll be some new names. A year ago, man, we were not saying John Duran, and there's been change where Sesko's concerned. Some of you, rightly or wrongly, not me, because I've been wrong about a lot of stuff, like Jesus getting double figures this year. Some of you were saying don't sign a striker. We got Kai Havertz, So some of you were falling for what the club was telling you. I can't see Cunha leaving in Jan unless we get a big offer, more likely in the summer. Ryan, that's the thing. I think we'll huff and puff, and it will have shades of Caicedo and Vlahovic and Douglas Luiz, but it will take a lot. Wolves he'd really have to burn his bridges at Wolves, and Wolves would have to let him go. But at the end of the day, everything is in Wolves' hands, unless Arsenal are ready to pay peace. damn Champions League matches are meaty. Either tomorrow or Thursday at some point, playback, we'll watch the highlights. But nah, man, I wanted to watch Monaco versus, is it Villa? There's a couple good games, man. Big up Ryan. Best of luck for Saturday, man. We're gonna need those 3 points, though. Replay. I no longer suffer from disappointment. My expectation is that I'll be disappointed, so I keep my expectation very low. If they do more, I can be happy. If not, no more pain. It's a weird one because for me, I always live in hope. Like some of you actually say I'm bare positive and bare negative. I'm just me. I think I look at the reasons, and I think around Arsenal in the summer, I think everything was pointing to me to be pessimistic. And then there's a tiny bit of blind optimism. Me, where my football club is, I love it. Just take every day as it comes, man. And I just hope there's a day I could sit there and say, with chess, we can win a Premier League. And respectfully, I've seen a team win the Premier League, and I know what I can get from the majority of the players. I know what was required. I don't, again, the same things I've been waffling about. Some of you get onto me for years on YouTube for saying the same things. If all of these things are eradicated, then I promise you no one will be on this platform more than me saying we're going to win league titles. But if I want to cook you a meal and you want me to cook you a certain meal, and I've told you the ingredients I need, and you've bought 2 of the ingredients, 3 alternatives, you've not brought exactly what I need, I can't tell you I'm going to make the mad thing, innit? It's crazy. What happened to the Zubimendi talks? I don't know, man. As I said, for me, it's all excitement. But on the best of days, I've seen Aaron Ramsey. I said this earlier. I've seen Aaron Ramsey announced on ManchesterUnited.com he signed for them. Did Aaron Ramsey ever kick a ball for Man United? So until it's done, unless, if you're Edu, well, he's not even in anymore. But if you're the people who make the decisions at Arsenal and Zubimendi has signed and it's not been announced, fair enough. But on the best of days, I don't trust players until they're holding shirts. And then Zubimendi, he's taken Liverpool, Arsenal, and several other clubs around the houses, man. The only thing that gives me a bit of hope is it has to have been coordinated. Man, I had to be briefed on that because Sammy Maltbell's dropped it. Ornstein's dropped his thing moments later. Romano, who I don't even know if he's there like that, but he's involved. Like the Holy Trinity, there must be something. Them man's their sources must have told them something, or whoever they know at the club must have briefed them. It'd be better if Havertz flopped like William because Arteta wouldn't be able to justify playing him regardless of his wages. Nah, man, I'd rather a player work out. And you still have to play Donny regardless. He has to use him because he spent 65 on him. Arteta has to down that hill. He does, man. An unusable player flops. Havertz can't get used enough by Arteta. Nelson done his hammy. He ain't coming back. Boy, I don't know because has Kai Havertz fully flopped at Arsenal? For the language that was said about him, bearing in mind the Athletic were doing polls on flop to the season before the man's kicked the ball. I'm not saying he's been amazing, but I don't think he's been a flop. I feel he's been underwhelming, but at the same time, if I didn't think the world of you, and I think this is our problem, I think you've been a lot more consistent and reliable than a lot more players that I rate a lot more than you, if I'm honest with you. And rightly or wrongly, when everybody's fit with Arsenal in this current scenario, for me, Bukayo Saka's off that right-hand side. Kai Havertz is through the middle. When Trossard's out there, I'm going to cry for Martinelli. When Martinelli's out there, I'm going to cry for Trossard. When they've both peed me off enough, get well soon. It's a Gabriel Jesus thing. Obviously, Ethan's come to get involved in these shouts. Kai Havertz been all right in midfield. For other people, he's been all right up front. So it's very hard to say he's flopped. I won't say he's flopped just for wanting him out. But I never wanted Havertz at all. And I screamed that he was going to be a huge flop, cost too much and all that from the moment he was mentioned. Sell him. If we wasn't in top 4, we'd be spending and sorting it out. But since we're in top 4, our owners happy not to panic. They'll get a shot when we finish outside of the top 4 without investing. By God's grace, we don't finish outside the top 4. DG, it recently dawned on me that perhaps the reason we aren't spending as much as we did in the previous season is maybe the money is being prioritized for stadium renovations. We won't spend it in a while. Rightly or wrongly, please don't shoot the messenger. I am not making excuses for the club, yeah? We definitely need to spend. It's all fun and games. One is that Gyökeres, this guy, that guy, Zubimendi, all these men cost bread. We're not doing the scouting thing before these lot are gassed up, finding them before their household names. So money has to be spent regardless. Like, it has to. But I do think there's some austerity measures going on at the football club. I do think, to a degree, whether it's because we're broke or because maybe the Kroenke said, Arteta, you're spending a lot of money, and we're not really doing much in terms of selling. I think there is a bit of an emphasis on selling, and I think that will continue in the summer. Had we have not faced not having the bodies in the squad, I think there might have been one or two that could have been allowed to leave in this window that's upon us, man. Look, you're entitled to an opinion, but no one agrees. Hey, man, everyone can be nice, man. No one's right, no one's wrong, man. I've seen too much fighting on YouTube and that. Everyone be nice, man. Everyone be nice, man. There's peace and love, man. Everyone just peace and love. Let's be respectful. It's Havertz wages 275k. It's disgusting. But then even that, the club not managed to appease well. Eddie, again, I will not listen. What you lot get paid, you lot get paid. That's your business. And I know people don't want to hear it. I am not justifying what I'm about to say, but the younger players, to a degree, Kai Havertz, he's got years in him. Eddie and Nketiah and Nelson, you tie them down on a 5-year deal. There's a bit of inflation to consider. No one put a gun to my man's head to sign 200. Like, you lot did that to yourself. You lot did that to yourself. So thinking Kai Havertz was going to fix anything just for this, think he's going to fix anything, giving him them wages and any knock-on effect. This is you man's business. Kai did it by himself. Moreno never bought himself in a summer where we needed a game changer. Like, to a degree, I think we do the woe is me on and off the field. Yeah, I hear all of that. You can't find the target and this one and that one, but everybody's probably saying that. Other people are making it happen. And even to the point where, don't get it twisted, a striker and a winger on the left-hand side and up front, I think it makes the world of difference. But are we playing that free-flowing football that just assumes that we sign these players and we're better? We'd convert a lot more. We'd have more points on the board. But this is what I mean. There's so much that needs to be arrested in terms of our mentality and on the field with Mikel Arteta's coaching, as well as signing. If we're looking at this fine margins thing of being a team that's not just getting top 4, decent record against the top 6. Sometimes we're going to pack teams. I'm talking about getting over the line. And also where the Kroenkes are concerned, and you lot will see this in the video I did with Zar, I think the overall mentality on not wanting to be winners is the Kroenkes, on the Kroenkes. But they could also sit here like, again, you lot know me, I'm a fair man, you know. If I think you've done right, I'll say. If I think you've done wrong, wrong. And I'm not in the boardroom with these, man. But if I was with Josh Kroenke and Stan Kroenke and I said, you lot are not investing, you're not doing that, and they sat here and said, yo, DG, listen to this then. Arteta, we allowed him to rip up contracts. We've given man 700 million. Forget, because I know on YouTube you say forget the 700 and focus on the last 3 years. We've given man money. We've allowed him to rip deals. He wanted goalkeeper on goalkeeper, left back up on left back. We did all of that for him. He wanted Kai Havertz. We had our other employees weren't exactly all convinced. We made it happen. We did, you know, he wanted Moreno, which we could have signed that game changer number 8 and then got a Moreno for the squad the following summer, DG. You know, bearing in mind he had a year left on his deal. We've backed him. He's got peas to spend. We have said, yo, we need to get better in terms of selling. But what if they sat there and said that about Arteta? I'd have to say fair enough, because I don't think you can 100% blame the Kroenkes. Yes, signings go wrong. Not everything's working. But, and again, 5 years at a football club, there is going to be bare different things that work and don't. 700 million, again, I don't really care what other teams have spent. I only care about my football club. But 700 million is nothing compared to what others done. My issue is, in these last 3 years, so the first year we fought for the title to now, have we controlled the controllables? Have we spent the P's in the best way? How many hits to misses have there been? I think there's more hits defensively. I think it's so-so in midfield. Even that, added on to that point, what if they said, yo, we spent money on a top-class, world-class number 6, and we're allowing him to play as an 8? Goals win games. And up front, it's been mixed. The talent ID's been mixed. Odegaard was a hit. I know he's not flavor of the month, but he was a hit. 2 of your most productive players were here already in Bukayo Saka and Martinelli throughout the time of these last 3 years. Jesus has not banged. Trossard's probably been a better value for money signing of all the attackers. Kai Havertz, you failed upwards, but the reality is he's playing peas. We can't act like Mikel Arteta is blameless, and we can't act like he's all to blame. It's multifaceted. Everybody's hands are dirty. And then for me, beyond that, I think you could argue a more experienced manager gets last season's title challenge over the line. But then you could also argue, even if you got the manager that does all the good things Arteta does to a higher standard and all his problems are not there, how much would they really be set up for success under these guys' ownership? Because they don't strike me as winners. They would like to win. For me, it looks like a freestyling thing. You know, you can get us top 4. Top 4 is a serious requirement of you, Mikel Arteta. If you win a Premier Champs, that's your business. We're not really looking over your shoulder for that. Arteta's signings look worse and worse in hindsight. Arteta wasted money and assets. He must dig himself out if there's no money there. To be fair, I cannot blame the Kroenkes. The recruitment has not been good enough. Some players should have never worn that red shirt. Money has been wasted on Deadwood. Big up, man. Would take Cunha in a millisecond, but honestly, think about Osimhen. Better than both of those blocks. We're a top 4 club at best. The squad depth is seriously lacking. How can a bench have 4 left backs and 2 academy players, yet we want to win major honours? And you know what? Once again, Lewis Skelly, Ethan Nwaneri, shout out to you lot for showing, and above all, you could be competent players this year. Because Lord knows, especially of recent with Lewis Skelly, where the hell, I don't even want to imagine what our defence would look like. How much money do you think the Kroenkes will keep giving Mikel? You, man, have to budget your funds monthly. Why would it be different for billionaires? Kroenkes gave Arteta money. The funds are not indefinite. Exactly. But on one hand, they're going to have to keep committing. You'd imagine with the Champions League money, I think we have to get better at selling. I think we have to get better at selling those academy players that are half decent. Núñez, Szoboszlai, Grealish, Højlund, Casemiro, and Conku all cost as much, if not more, than Havertz, and all warm bench. Everyone has misses, and to be fair, Grealish, boy, Szoboszlai doing his thing at Liverpool, not the most important player. Højlund, Atalanta done a robbery. Casemiro, great player, but United should have never bought him. Darwin Núñez, I'm sure he's one of them man that divide opinions in the Liverpool fan base, because he's them guys like, and I've said this before, and I think last week was the best example. He'll win you a game or two against Brentford, and he might cost you one. The best thing and worst thing about Núñez, who also did well off the bench against Arsenal, is you don't know what you're going to get. But the thing is, from Liverpool, and Liverpool fans could be different. I think it applies to Szoboszlai to a degree, but that's one man who you don't know what you're going to get. You know what you're getting from Salah. You know what you're getting from Jota if fit. You know what you're getting from Gakpo. You know what you're going to get from, obviously not match-winning stuff, but Curtis Jones, all of that. We've got players who I know what I'm getting from, but in the attacking sense, it's a box of randoms. Like, if everybody's fit, I don't think they're bad players. Trossard been iffy, but I think you can kind of know what you're getting from him. He will get some goals and assists off the bench. Bukayo Saka is the one I'll put my life savings on. The rest, you don't know what you're getting. 5 games, you know, they all have different periods where 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games at various points of season, they will do well. And they might end up with double figures for the end of the campaign. But in the nitty gritty, boy, because sometimes, and I think people forget, to win a league title, sometimes it's about how many games you can win when you're at your worst, you know. I'm sure if you ask Arne Slot, is he happy about the Brentford game? No. He's happy he got the 3 points, but guys got them out of jail. And we need to have a squad that can do that. But it is what it is. We have not yet seen the best of Calafiori. I'm cool with Calafiori, man. Bro, man, miss sitters after sitters. How can he not be a flop? I mean, I'm not going to keep going into this. Havertz gets hate for being a utility player. He didn't decide his wages or fees. Just support the man. Makes no sense to join a hate train. I'm not gonna lie, I don't rate Havertz like that, but there's so much. Again, we're at where we're at. I don't think I think people rewrite history with Havertz, and man, we're comparing him to Van Persie and all of this, but I don't think he's been that bad. And I think you kind of sign up for any headache you have if you are not creating that many chances. You're creating 2-3 a game, and you're relying on Havertz to bag. I think you're creating your own problems. Don't get twisted. Havertz are professional football. He should be putting the ball in the back of the net. But when has Havertz been defined as clinical? At some point, like, stop standing in the rain and complain you're wet, man. No, we are getting tired, man. Get us a striker, or these owners need to face some serious backlash. I hear it, and I don't want to be defeative. I'm not. Listen, everyone can voice their opinion in whatever way. If you want to protest or not, do your thing. But I just look at the Kroenkes. If I was, let's just say tomorrow, I'm at the Emirates, fans are doing a protest outside my office, I'm just going to shut the window and put on music. Is what it is. Scream, shout, shake it all about. We've been here since 2018. We've been full owners since 2018, invested since 06, 07. Like, what are you not going to say that you ain't said before? We survived the Super League thing. We survived when it was really dark at Arsenal, when Xhaka's throwing off his shirt, back-to-back 8th, when it was really collapsed. Now, challenge him. And let's have it right. There's too much battle sides. Don't get it twisted. I feel where it comes to the Arsenal fan base, there's a couple that overlap. I feel there's some that are on the more negative side, some that are on the more positive side, some that are balanced, but, you know, sway towards more things. For every Mikel Arteta out, there's a Mikel Arteta sexual, you know, at the grounds and on the internet. So they're smart. These men might not be watching. Do I think the cronkies are sitting there and watching content? No, but these men are businessmen. They know the sentiment. And let's be honest, maybe not to that degree, but this was here under Emre. Because not everybody was unanimously agreeing that Emre needed to go. It was getting there, but what was the final nail in the coffin? I think they say it was that. What was it? Frankfurt. There's hardly any bums on seats. There's still bums on seats. We're still buying merchandise. There is stuff to be. Let's not lie. There is stuff to be positive about. Me, the only positive I want is big up the project rebuild. I want Prems and champs. That's me. But there is it positive in terms of it's not all doom and gloom. That's not happening. We can scream. And I'm not saying this to be defeative. As I said, do your thing. If somebody ever came up with a proper pattern to get real change, I'll be one of the first to get behind it. But it's not gonna change nothing, bro. It's like going and protesting outside down the street, and that it's not gonna bring no change. You're gonna feel important. You're gonna feel your voice is heard. But tomorrow is back to square one. Really, it's peak, man. Forest making bids when they're in the top four. West Ham bid for Duran. Might not happen for both clubs, but they've bid and shown ambition. Duran definitely bid for and Visa 30 to 40 perfect till summer. Havertz, oh, sorry, man. All right, man. Allow me with the Havertz stuff now, man. For the love of God, why can't we play a left back at right back as a fullback? DG, you know it's not that hard. Not all of us can do that though. It's true, but not all of us. Some of us can do traditional fullback left and right, inverted. Not all of us can do it. Arteta, sign me, man. Sign me. Man said Arteta needs to be sent on loan. Havertz on form can be as good as... Okay. Don Carlo, but he's come out apparently and said, I'm not cutting. Saka, the only player we have that's consistent. Maybe in the attacking line, but I think that's harsh. I think Rice is the least of our issues. I'm not saying man are perfect. And then I think it's more the defenders. Like, I'll be real. If I'm honest, generally, I feel our defense has been saving us, not just in terms of scoring goals, but they've been head and shoulders above everyone. During this little period, give or take, with beating Spurs and whatever, yeah, this little period we've been unhappy about. I actually feel Saliba, Gabriel, Raya, you drop to the, and it's not really their fault. You drop to the level of what's around you. There's only so many times you can be on another level, man. Yeah, man. So yeah, moral of the story, I don't think Arteta is fully blameless. I don't think the Cronkies can be blamed for everything. I think it's multifaceted, man. Yeah, bro. Allow me, man. Allow me, bro. Allow me, man. Like, big up Kai Havertz. As you see, I'm not even dissing, but this Van Persie BS. I don't care what Tommy Tuchel and all these guys said. Like, yeah, they know more about football than me, but no, man. Because they're both left-footed and tall. And I'm not dissing Kai, but it was I actually think the club have done Kai dirty. You did it for half a year last year. Regardless, we should have said, yeah, we're bringing in the striker, gunman striker, Kai. If you fight for your spot and you keep it, that's your business. You can get minutes. We get too excited. We see short-term fixes and try to do it for the longest. We take squad players and try and make them regulars, and then ultimately they have good and bad periods, but ultimately when we don't go to where we need to go to, it's peak. I think I'll be real. I think Kai Havertz has been a lot more consistent in his time at this club than Bear Man, which again tells you the issue. For what it's worth, apparently Aston Villa do not want to sell John Duran. They value him at upwards of 70 million. Bearing in mind he's just signed a new contract and they've had him for about 30 seconds, innit? Boy, due diligence. And I won't lie, yeah, slyly, if we were going for Sesko in the summer, man, don't just wake up and start trying to look for players in the summer. You're scouting them for a year or 2 or 18 months. So if you continue that time, and then you look at this summer where it never happened, and we're in January, it's one thing talking about Cunha, who can play up front, and all these other guys, Duran, Sesko, Gyökeres, Isaac, whatever have you, Bob's your uncle, Osimhen. Where's the other names? Because it's not just, obviously, typically it's team players that are established that can improve us, but there must be emerging talents, because Sesko weren't pulling up any trees. There must be emerging talents, household names. Where's the other man? You've known for time you need the Saka replacement if he's not fit, or someone to play on the other side. These are not new things. Well, go on for the scouting department, and even the scouting department. Maybe they're listening, not that they watch me, and they're saying, you know what, DG, we hear you. We actually suggested targets, but I know even in my Sunday League scouting experiences, I could find the next Jaden. Can you hang on? Can you still hear me? Cool. Let's just say I've gone to the pot. Let's just, for argument's sake, I scout for Arsenal's under nines. Yeah, let's say I scout for Arsenal's under nines. I've woke up on a Sunday. I see North London FC playing South London FC. I see the next Jadon Sancho, Bobby Dazzler. You don't even need to know anything about football. He's a baller. He's wavy. I get his parents' details. Yeah, I call up the head of recruitment at Arsenal, who technically employs me because I'd be a casual scout in this example. I say I found the next one. I'm doing scout reports, etc. If I give him them notes and he doesn't follow up on that interest and call the parent, arrange trials, that player's gone, you know. So is it not? It's not necessarily always the scouts thing. It's even like at Man United historically. You see it with Ralph Rangnick and all them. United, all John Duran, all these guys. United were linked with all of them. So the scouts were doing their job. The people that actually make the decisions, whether that's management or executives, people that sign off on shit, like people whose voices matter, respectfully, if they're not taking up, if they're not taking in, then it falls on deaf ears. So I can see maybe why it's that. And then obviously, but then again, we did change up the scouting kind of thing we did. So it might be different, man. I don't know, man. Feels like we need an extra scouting department for forwards. We're clearly not sold on any ones on our shortlist. We're getting linked with Neymar next. Isn't he going back to Santos? Mikel has to be criticised for not refreshing that squad. Look at how Slot makes early subs very proactive. I must admit, that's been something of Arteta. And I won't lie, Arteta, you annoyed me against Aston Villa. I am not screaming Raheem Sterling is going to make the difference here, but what's a man meant to do in 8 minutes? Like, and that's just one thing I think Arteta can improve at. There's been times where you've made subs or not made subs and it's worked, but like I kind of said at the beginning, Arteta, you could, like, it's like a man that does his homework on a subject, and revision, and then the exam comes and the majority of the stuff you've revised, but then there's a spanner in the works where you're not necessarily clued up on. As I said, I think Arteta can plan for something. He can plan for a plan, and I think he's kind of a genius in that. But when there's a spanner or something goes left, I don't really typically see things change. One of the things that I think has been the most unique has probably been Kieran Tierney playing left wing, but we all know that is not something he wanted to do. What about Rashi DG? Honestly, 25 mil kind of still. I like Rashford. That's the saddest thing. I like him. You know, he's man them. He was feeding the kids with the public. I mean, the government should be doing. We've got too many damaged goods, too many players that need an arm around their shoulder, too many 10 games you're on it, the next you're not. I like Rashford's skill set. I like what it looks like on YouTube. I like him as a person. I'm not on it though. I don't like things I don't even necessarily care about with Rashford, but you're going to be on big wages. You're Premier League proven. You're significantly experienced. I want you to hit the ground running and be a leader. I don't know if Manchester United fans would say he is that. I don't know what I'm going to get from you. I think your decision making is pony. I think I've seen already from Lewis Skelly, Kobe Mainoo, Ethan Nwaneri, all different positions, but they have way better decision making than Rashford. Even when Rashford has had higher goal scoring returns, I like the illusion of Rashford. I don't really like the reality, and I don't really care about what you're doing off the field. But all you really see at Arsenal is people getting married, having kids, etc. What do you see from Rashford, rightly or wrongly? We all saw that ugly girl like that even had the audacity. I don't blame her. You know, that's your life story. Selling the story to the paper. Arteta ain't going for that. And again, I'm rooting for Rashford. You know, just not here, man. Why is it always us that man have to do the underdog thing? Because the same is very different, but the same jazz that these lot were saying about why we should get Raheem Sterling or why it could bang, they say it with Rashford. Work with the trash, like not even the trash, it's disrespectful. Work with the man that need a bit of love already. And what about just getting some players that have a certain grounding and they're ready to go to the next level? They still need training, but they ain't got the baggage. Why we always got to get these baggage dons? Van Persie was different levels. Other guys ain't scoring like his versus Charlton. I beg Josh Kroenke, just go grab the mega platinum card. Not signing anyone is looking scary. Every day that goes past, it's getting scary, man. Josh got to talk to his mum, get a sponsor on their Walmart 100 million sponsor training kit thing. And even that, like, if I'm Kroenke, yeah, I'm not saying we're at 75 likes. Can we get to 100, folks? I'm not saying they're bad man, but these men are businessmen. So everything's up for debate. They leave nothing to chance, right? If I'm Josh Kroenke, Stan Kroenke, and I see, Josh, you got a good relationship with Arteta. Like, make sure you go and you're seen interviewing a bit more and you're in and around Arsenal a bit more. Rightly or wrongly, I'm sure Josh cares. But it starts to make it look like a good relationship because Arteta, I don't think he's against the Cronkies. I do think he's a bit like Wenger in that. And you're not going to get at your owners. But I'm sure if we was Arteta's friends, like the people texting him, he would say a lot different to how he conducts himself in the media. To the untrained eye and obviously football fans, when he's saying they're the best owners, etc., I have to take your word for gospel. They must be because you're getting paid more money. As long you're not going to die unless you come out that top four. There's a massive fall off, but at the same time, there's that. And like you're saying, again, Josh, I'm sure you're a move maker and all of that, but ultimately, you can say what you want. It's your dad that pulls the strings, isn't it? So this is why I feel, unfortunately, our club are in the cycle we're in, and that we'll have some good moments. We will see that it's like you can see that it's gonna rain, and you're just standing outside, and once it rains, it pours, in it, and then we go again, and it's already even the most optimistic of fan, or even the most pessimistically optimistic of fan, it's already a next season thing, and it's sad because we're in January. It's already, and I think for a lot of us, it's not even that you necessarily want next season or care about it. It's time to emotionally check out, which is sad. It's sad. Armchair fans are the best scouts. The club needs to get us involved. You man don't understand that Arteta is hoping to extract Van Persie from Havertz. When he plays midfield, he's hoping to extract John Terry. Boy, done no, man. One love for the super chat, man. Appreciate that. DG, we have such a large fan base that we all have extreme contrast in opinion, yes, but I think we could all agree that our squad is too thin. We need signings regardless of if Arteta has spent poorly. Amen. Like, everyone can see it, bro. And this is why, to a degree, my expectations in the summer weren't there, because I'm not going to sit and say I could predict these injuries, but I didn't see anything different. I'm still behind the Calafiori signing and what he can become. Moreno, I need a bit of personality. I've always maintained, and I got a lot of heat for it. I don't know where all of these ITKs are coming out making that he's the Xhaka replacement. That's a squad player at best. Cool. Neither at the point of signing, maybe in hindsight in the future, but neither at the point of signing for this football club upgraded our starting 11. Raheem Sterling, respectfully, bro, the less said, the better. Neto, the same. So if I'm seeing this and then we're doing this, I don't believe in this hope thing, you know. Like, for me, you do your due diligence, you do your preparation, you get competencies. This goes for life, let alone football. If you do all the things you need to do, then you can have a level of blind hope, because it's come off the back of what you did. It was all, I hope Kai continues, or Kai did it for half a year. Hope he does it for a whole year. I hope we have a clean run with injuries. And by the same token, it is the hope that kills. Yeah, what about Havertz? What about Havertz now? I'm not talking about Havertz no more today, man. Josh is probably trying to revolutionize the business side of the pitch, hence the merch. When he proves profit, maybe he gets more. And football's a great business anyways, because we all, again, big up all the ones around the world. I can't really speak for everyone, but it would be important to say, yeah, or would it be too far-fetched to say, whatever country you lot are from, yeah, inflation is going up, wages are going down, living costs are going up, everything is getting more expensive, bills are going up, all that stuff. And some of you got kids and multiple kids and mortgages and the rest of it. Everything is getting mad. Everything's mad. People still going to football games, bro. People are still going to buy the Sky, whether you're doing the illegal thing or not. People typically still going to get BT Sports, still going to get Sky Sports, still going to buy the free home kits. And again, if I had, let's just say I got a son and daughter and the missus, which single man, shout me. But let's just say I buy myself all free kits. I'm going to buy my youths all free. I'm going to buy the missus one, too. How much peas is that? If I'm a season ticket holder, if I'm going and supporting Arsenal week in, week out in the Premier League, Mazza, traveling, Mazza, train tickets, petrol, all of that kind of stuff. If we're in the Champions League, like what? We're going to Girona next week. Mazza, you got to get us a hotel and whatnot. Football's one of the best businesses. It's one of the best businesses, because we always, some of you will leave your husbands and your wives before your football team. You know, as I said, the last time we were serious on a trophy front, I was a little kid. Still ain't got facial hair, apart from little 1-2 bum fluff. But I've lost my virginity. I've had relationships. I've had long hair. Now I ain't got long hair. I've moved house. I've been through a lot of stuff. Football team stayed the same, you know. Like Arsenal stayed the same. My love for Arsenal stayed the same because of that emotional pull. We all do it. I ain't watching no more. I've mentally checked out. I don't care no more. We're back next week. I say the same things. How much Arsenal therapy sessions have you lot seen? And I'm still back here. It's crazy, man. I don't know. Havertz might be performing differently, man. I ain't this Havertz. I'm pleased, man. I don't want to talk about Kai no more, man. Exactly right, DG. Everything is going up. Damn it. But football is the way everyone forgets the problems just for 90 minutes. Exactly. It's football, bro. If you have a football club, you're laughing. And Arsenal, we're one of them culture clubs. I don't care what no one says. Like, we're probably one of the most globally followed clubs. I'm not saying we're the biggest and baddest, but I'm sure if you go Asia, Africa, the Americas, definitely England, London especially, we're locking it all off. So when you're seeing all of this, it just makes sense. Facts, DG. I was 9 turning 10 last time we won the league. It's depressing, bro. I hear you. It is what it is, man. That's the thing, man. We've got too many underperformers, bro. Martinelli, Trossard probably performed a lot more, but Martinelli, Trossard, you man should be Gabriel Jesus. You man should be Havertz. You man should. Some of you are performing better than others. It's your rotationary options, bro. I need a striker. For me, when I see a striker that's going to get 20 league goals, Saka's doing what he's doing on the right hand side. In an ideal world, a man that's doing what Saka's doing on the left, or even 50%, I feel a lot more positive about certain things, man. There's so much things to like. There's so much things to not like. It's long, man. Yeah, mate. Trossard's done his thing in the last few games, man, and we need it to continue. I think Havertz would be in the 10 with Musiala at Munich. Boy. Yeah, pick them up, man. Pick them up, man. It's nothing to do with you. It's just the fact that I think we spent a long time in this live stream talking about that, man. Big up CeeLo as well. Shout out the Twitch gang once again. So yeah, it is what it is. Arsenal should go for Vlahovic. We keep going around the hills at this point. It's like the Truman Show. Like Arsenal just on repeats, the same things. I'd love Nathan Butler-Adeji to get his chance off the bench. At this point, who else you got? Whether these lot are gonna have a future at the club or not, you ain't got nothing else. You might as well try them, man. You don't know what a man could do in 10, 20 minutes. But clearly, Arteta, whether it's the young G's or Sterling or whoever, them man are not trusted, man. But let's hope things change, man. On that note, though, people, man. Getting hungry. Let me go have dinner, and then I gotta go out. You lot have made me late, you know. You lot have actually made me late, but nonetheless, it's always a great chat. Obviously, make sure you're following on Spotify, people. The video and audio content goes out on there as well, and I'd appreciate if you help the guy out. Check out the video I did with Sesko. Obviously, tomorrow it's watch along business. Turn on your notification bells, and thank you for my mods, for my channel members, for the super chat or two that we've had, for your questions, for your differences of opinions. It's amazing to be here day in, day out, week in, week out, speaking football, man. So bless people, safe. And don't forget, Lewis Skelly's doing his thing. Calafiori's doing his thing. Zinchenko had a good season or so here. Timber's done his thing. I ain't seen none of the left.